All right, hello everybody. Back to back Mindcrack. That's right. We are back, baby, once again. So we needed bamboo. Need some acacia, mangrove, jungle. One might say jungwa. Until the Nisaqua. So we're gonna go on a little bit of a field trip. Not through the nether. Take our handy bamboo raft here and head out. So, what are we going to talk about today? Good question. I remembered from Comp's Clues episode, or one of the episodes, I promised I'd talk about the Doctor Who audio stories. So we're going to talk about the Doctor Who audio stories. Brief explanation of what they are. These started back in the time period where TV Doctor Who wasn't happening, and whether it would ever happen again was up for debate. But this little company somehow called... I didn't intend for this irony here. I'm looking for a bed. I thought I had a bed farther out here, but I guess not. This company called Big Finish in 1999 started making Doctor Who audio stories. And they originally starred the 80s Doctors, who have been doing it for the past 25 years. And then a few years later, they got Paul McGann, the 8th Doctor, and they've eventually got Tom Baker, the 4th Doctor, as well. And it's crazy, but they're extremely good on a whole. And a lot of times people say, oh, they're better than the show. They do things the show can't do. Like, a lot of these stories are for Doctor Who fans. And, have all, like, the, continuity Doctor Who fans that love jacking off about, right? That's a lot of what it's about. And, so they try... They don't contradict anything that is said or happens with the TV show. You're just an island, I'm pretty sure, looking at the map. So they follow the rules and everything in the TV show. Everything they do still fits within the canon rules, but they try their best to squeeze things in. Oftentimes just because it makes a good story. Like, what, you want the 8th Doctor to meet Missy? That sounds fun. Fortunately, the 8th Doctor is going to have to take a conk on the head and forget about her because the 12th Doctor doesn't remember who she is. So, any crossover is possible when amnesia is involved. But, I mean, basically, it's crazy. Literally everybody who's alive and has been a companion from the classic series has done it. They've gotten multiple new series people, but let's just say the new series people tend to be a lot more successful actors who are very busy and don't necessarily have all the time in the world for swinging by the Doctor audio stories. Eventually, Christopher Eccleston, 9th Doctor, started doing them, but heavily implied there that he's getting a big ol' paycheck, and that's why he's doing them. Which, look, ain't no shame in the paycheck game. Okay? Just make sure I'm oriented in the right path here. Ain't no shame. And they've gotten David Tennant to do them as well. He recorded a whole bunch during COVID. Because they're like, hey, David, you're locked in your house. Yeah. And they're like, what if we throw together some audio stories for you to do as the doctor? And he's like, say less. Catch me there. Oh. Here's the big old mess I was expecting to see. Yeah, so I finished a big... So the Eighth Doctor is probably the most famous audio storylines because his Doctor had basically zero TV continuity, which meant that they're basically free to do whatever the fuck they wanted. And they've have a super long-running story arc now. I mean, he joined them in 2001, so, you know, coming on a couple years, 25-year story arc. Here's the Lily of the Valley. That's why we're in the swamp. Guess we just haven't really gone in swamps. It's making us work for it, too, going all the way around like this. Yay! Or blue orchid. Lily of the Valley, same flower. You know, the swamp one. And the valley, maybe. We're missing acacia leaves. This looks like this might be the world's tiniest savanna when I saw it from the map. But let's take a look. So his first of story arcs were with companion Charlotte Pollard, also known as Charlie, who was from the 1930s and was supposed to have died in the R101 disaster, which I guess is basically the British, the European Hindenburg. I sure didn't know. I wasn't sure if they were making it up or not, honestly. But oh, what a throw. But it was real. R101, very real. Those stories, there's some amazing stuff in there. A lot of very experimental stuff, a lot of weird stuff that doesn't work or is just bizarre and painful to listen to. That's rare, though. A lot of very big swings, but I wouldn't really recommend it to someone not steeped in Doctor Who lore, because a lot of the stuff is steeped in Doctor Who lore, including there's a big, like, halfway through her storyline climax that was the the 40th anniversary story at the time called Zagreus, which is all kinds of weird and crazy, and it goes for it. It swings. And they go to the Divergent universe. There's another companion called Kara's, an universe where people don't know what time is, which, you know, that's a weird concept. I might have already been to this one. I don't know. There's no goat horn or anything. Yeah, keep shooting yourself and taking my thorns. Your loss. Does he not fight pillagers? Oh, he do. Godspeed. Littering the server, am I right? So it does look like if we go directly this way, directly west, use one of my last ender pearls because swamp gross. Looks like there might be a jungle out here, which we need. Look, it's no use trying to avoid the lily pads, okay? No use at all. Cyan bed. But then after that, they made a series of stories for the radio that aired on BBC Radio, and these were intentionally formatted you know, with what we have at base, we might have enough for a slime block. Excuse me. And these were intentionally done to kind of mimic the new series, which would come out by then, with the, you know, kind of having the overall story arc. And, you know, not really story, but there's kind of like, you know, a story arc in the background going on all season, right? And then everything jungle? No, we do need jungle hanging sign. We also need bamboo. So there's all that. Is that a mangrove? Because we need a mangrove too. That'd be awesome. Sure looks like it to me. And these start Lucy Miller. This is companion who was, you know, Charlie was kind of like a, you know, prim and proper posh girl, while Lucy was like a real brash motor mouth. So good companion contrast there. And they finally decided to pull the plug and have the doctor meeting his granddaughter again for the first time, not counting the 5 doctors, which is the 20th anniversary on TV. And the doctor very famously made a big speech about how he'll come back for his granddaughter one day, and then they see each other again in that episode, and it's weird because, you know, they don't really acknowledge each other. The 5 doctors, everyone. And we meet the doctor's great-grandson. But it's not done in like a hold on. Okay. It's not done in like a fanish way, or it's just, you know, like it's done in a very sweet way. Doctor's great-grandson is played by the 8th Doctor, Paul McGann's actual son, which is cool. And Carol Ann Ford, who's, you know, in her 60s or 70s, I don't know exactly when they recorded this, is wonderful and heartbreaking and all that good stuff. So yeah, and the finale was sensational. You know, and the audio stories are a huge part of the dedicated Doctor Who fan base. It's like, but again, the show should not be what the audio stories are. The audio stories can be continuity and reference laden and try and explain things and, you know, have fun with continuity, all that stuff. Like, you know, that's not the TV show should and does, you know, stay fresh and isn't burdened. You know, shouldn't feel constrained. All the lore. I mean, it's not like the audio stories are constrained, because boy, they squeeze in things where things shouldn't be squeezed in, like River, the Doctor's wife. Even though she has photos of all his faces, it's pretty clear he meets her for the first time as David Tennant. But it would be fun to have her hanging out with previous old Doctors, right? I mean, it would. And again, there's nothing a little amnesia can't fix. So Yeah, but that finale of 2 episodes called Lucy Miller to the Death were sensational. Just big boy stuff, as it were. If I keep going, there should be mangrove. And the question is finding cherries. There's like some weird missing textures in the overview map, and it's been that way for a while because it's not like anybody cares, you know. And they're all purple, the missing textures, so it's a little disconcerting to annoying to try and find things like cherries. But we cleaned out another tab last time. We'll clean out the wood tab. What do you think bamboo hanging signs are made then, huh? Probably stripped bamboo block, if I were to guess. But let's confirm because those are expensive. Recipe using block of stripped bamboo. Okay. That's a very satisfying noise, gotta say. Noises often are, I've found. Huzzah. Okay. Now the hard part. Mon cherry. The cherry blossoms. Oh, we didn't do wart fungus on a stick. Damn. That's okay. So I mean, yeah, we got a strip mine. We got a wither. Sunflower. Yeah, where the? Okay, we need to find sunflower. Haven't gotten glow lichen. That's an easy one. Yeah, sunflower. We need a geode. Oh, we need a desert. Yeah, we need a desert for beets. Desert village for beets. Okay, what's potentially out there? Is that cherry trees up there? It looks like that's a cherry grove, but no, it's just a hill with a lot of trees on it. I know it would be more ideal if you guys also saw me moving on the map, but I've got it second screened on my iPad. You see, so it's not exactly an option. I definitely, this was some undiscovered terrain, by the way. There's still places to find on the server, places people haven't been. But this might be a turn around and go home situation because I don't see anything approximating cherries. Or desert. Oh, there's some cherry. Okay, it's easier to spot on the map than I thought. Then we got that mesa up there. That's a desert village. There's probably more than one. There's more than one. Lots of desert villages up there. Okay, I've got a good plan. We are going to go overland. And the first order, well, is that within the border? Barely. Okay, so at 9-4. Yeah, okay, we need to go north. Checks out. Yeah, the only downside Dr. Audio stories, they're expensive. Quite expensive. They're very much a niche item. Gotta go north, he says, and then doesn't go north right away. However, they do have a lot of things, including a lot of the early 8th Doctor stories can be found on Spotify. So just go to Spotify, search Blood of the Daleks, check it out. Good stuff. Yes, that's all I got to say there. I'm gonna have another discussion here. Topic everybody wants to hear about: Caitlin Clark and the WNBA. So let me just put a few things out there. First of all, I have always liked women's sports. For me, it was just always just like, oh, there's more sports. Sports are cool. More sports. Sign me up. Like, I remember watching the 2011 Women's World Cup very vividly. Very vividly. That might be the first, like, true women's sports I watched. I don't know. First I can remember, at least. Very vividly. I remember the miraculous Abby Wambach goal against Brazil to send it to penalties that the U.S. won eventually from... It was Megan Rapinoe who crossed it to her, actually. And then I remember losing to Japan and being pissed. Not pissed, I was just sad. Yeah, cool for Japan, whatever. And women's basketball, I remember, because Notre Dame women's basketball has always been very good. And they made many a Final Four national championship and always lost in like the early 2010s. And then in 2018, Arike Ogunbowale went crazy, outbeat UConn in overtime in the Final Four, and then hit the most insane rainbow buzzer beater 3 on Easter to send Notre Dame, to give Notre Dame the title that we'd all been waiting for. So that's cool. And I'll have you know, I have watched the WNBA finals every year since 2016, I think. I can remember that one very well because I was right after Pat Summitt, who was the coach of the legendary women's basketball coach at Tennessee, died, and then former Tennessee player Candace Parker finally won the WNBA championship. It's a best out of 5 series, WNBA, and against the Lynx, who were like the best team in the 2010s. And LA, it was an extremely close Game 5, and great series. If there was a WNBA team in Denver, I'd be watching them all the time. It's just hard for me to form an emotional connection to a team from a city I've never lived in. I've never lived anywhere with a WNBA team, so, you know, there's the Western teams, but, you know, Denver has rivalries with them. I can't be an LA fan, Vegas fan, gross. I mean, Phoenix, Seattle, no. So, you know, give me Chicago or Indiana, probably the places I have the most connection to. I've never actually been to Indianapolis, so probably Chicago. But now they're Caitlin Clark enemies. So, look, it's crazy. You know, 2 years ago, if I brought to WNBA, get laughed at. And not that I've ever been commented there, but I probably like vaguely remember subscribing to the WNBA subreddit several years ago. I mean, that place was ghost town. Same with like the NCAA W subreddit. And in just like 2 years, those places are huge now. Huge. And, you know, your normal sports podcasts talk about the, you know, your bros are talking about the WNBA. Like it's a league you should follow. And, even though I'm not going to pretend I know a lot about the WNBA. I don't, because I don't have a team. I just support it because I think women's sports is cool and good. And then this whole Caitlin Clark thing has happened, and all these people who have never cared about women's sports from every angle because she is undeniably great and super talented. And then there's also the element of her being like a white Midwestern girl, which is very comforting to some people. And apparently a straight white Midwestern girl. There's a lot of, black gay women. That gives people the heebie-jeebies. It's just all this bullshit nonsense from people. Like, people don't care about, like, it used to be, everybody's suddenly become a capitalist when it comes to, so he's like, well, nobody talks about the WNBA because the ratings aren't there. And now that the ratings are there, people are talking about the WNBA. And yes, but the rating, like, the whole Caitlin Clark explosion, if Caitlin Clark was this good 10 years ago, I don't think this would have happened. It was just very slowly, people chipped away and kept pushing the WNBA and women's sports. The U.S. women's soccer team got huge, and very slowly, chipped away, and it entered more and more into public consciousness so that people were ready for this explosion. It's just a lot of people don't know what they'll talk about. They don't actually care about basketball. People are like, oh, they should, take it easy on Caitlin Clark. Why would you do that? This is sports. I will say some pushback. Charles Barkley said players like, look, don't hate Caitlin Clark, WNBA players, because she's helping your league a lot. And there are a lot of people who are like, people don't hate Caitlin Clark. What are you talking about? Yeah, they do. They do. Now, if some people are saying, well, because, there were no good she's like the first good women's basketball player in history, the way some people are acting, not true. Not true. And there's a lot of extremely talented, unbelievable people in the WNBA right now. I think Asia Wilson's the best player. So, but real quickly went to, the WNBA doesn't make any money. That, they should protect Caitlin Clark to make your money. Like, this is the point, this is why I'm increasingly liking Bomani Jones. The Mega Taiga tree is very cool. He identified, look, for a lot of people, it's like, this is not a sport. This is a cause. This is a cause. This is a cause. They're acting like this isn't a sport. Like, sports are supposed to be a meritocracy. We shouldn't, they're like, oh, well, they should basically rig it for Caitlin Clark because it'll help them financially, their bottom line. Like, all these people suddenly, and this is the point that Bonnie's talking about, are arguing for Caitlin Clark to get all these things that she doesn't deserve, which is like crazy in sports because people make such a big deal of, you don't deserve anything, you earn it. And people are asking for Caitlin Clark to get even more than she's earned, even though she's already earned so much. But they don't really care about the basketball, they just care about this, or, of course the other players don't like Caitlin Clark. To get to that level of sport, you're probably, delusional enough to think that you're like the best player on the fucking planet. So if all this, this new woman comes in, everybody's anointing her as Jesus Christ, you're probably going to be a little pissed off. Right? Probably going to be a little pissed off. So that all just makes sense. I don't think it's a problem. I think basketball, I think it's great that the players don't like her. Then you get things where, a player gives her a dumb hip check and suddenly it's like a, race war in America thing, how these black women, hurting our poor, and it's like, all these people that really didn't care about women's sports suddenly out here pretending like they know about women's sports. People said that women's sports were, dumb and stupid, are now like, protect sweet Caitlin at all costs. By the way, like, Caitlin Clark rules, and she is entirely blameless in this whole endeavor. She is acting incredibly professionally and maturely, and she rocks. So all this has nothing to do with her. But then she doesn't make the Olympic team, and all these people are like, well, they should have put her on there to make, increase television ratings. It's like, whoa, hold on. When you're always mad because you're like, oh, why are the Yankees and Dodgers always on television? Why are we always watching the Cowboys? And people say, well, they always talk about the Cowboys, Lakers. Say it's for television ratings. They're like, well, I'm sick of it. I don't care about the television ratings. They should focus on, the teams like Denver, Minnesota, Oklahoma City that aren't sexy, but Dallas, but are really good. Talk about LeBron all the time. But now, the same people are saying, just talk about, women's LeBron all the time. They're like, you should think about this in terms of ratings. It's like, oh yeah, hold on. Aren't people whining and complaining all the time? Don't we want sports decisions to be made based on ratings now? I'll say this. I'm not an expert. There's only 12 slots in the women's Olympic team. Personally, I think that Caitlin Clark was good enough to get one of those spots. But she would have probably been like the 12th player. I mean, can maybe use... And then some people brought up that Caitlin Clark's never trained with the team. Sure. It's the women, Do we really need Diana Taurasi going out there for her 6th Olympics? Like, leave a gold medal for somebody else, right? But fine. So you got all this shit, and all those people, like, so quote poster from a Barstool Big Cat, one of the Barstool idiots saying that she's Italian, she should play for Italy. I mean, first of all, is Italy even going to be in the Olympics? I mean, it's not like he's fact checking that. Stick it to Team USA, yeah, just like Barstool Big Cat probably 5 years ago was probably saying the WNBA was like gay shit or something. So yeah, it just touches on people's internalized sexism or racism or all these things. But I think the point, and then another analyst, Tim Legler, is very smart. Said, look, Christian Laettner was on the dream team. This could have been a real opportunity for the players to embrace Caitlin Clark and say that we don't hate her, we're gonna work with her. Let me tell you, buddy. That was not on the table. If she was on the team, they would be shit. It would be hazing the shit out of her. Rookie hazing the ever-loving shit out of her. I mean, they would be bullying the crap out of her. So the whole, she should have gone with them and it could have been this kumbaya. No. There's going to be no kumbayas. And can you imagine how mad people would be even as the U.S. was blowing out people and Caitlin Clark's still playing 2 minutes a game. She's the 12th best player in the 12-man team, and everybody's screaming about free Caitlin Clark and all this, Not worth it. That's the part that convinced me. That would probably be worse PR. And you really could have helped the league doing this. I don't know. Sure seems like it's strong. I tried a lot of PR to the league already. I mean, yeah, the viewership is up crazy. The WNBA could be a very few, short years away from being considered, on the same tier as like MLS. I do classify MLS as a major sports league, not because it's the highest level of competition. If you really want to know, because I am a nerd, my dictionary definition for major sports league is the championship has to get 1 million viewers, which MLS always does. 1 million viewers is not something to sneeze at, as it were. Not at all. I love these cherry trees. Breaks my heart what I got to do to them. The WNBA, if it was getting like 360K viewers, and some people say, well, WNBA, major sports league, 538 would do this a few times, and like I get the message, but I mean, when you're getting like a third to half as viewership as Major League Soccer is, I'm not sure you can lay claim to that. Not because I don't want them to. I'm just speaking the truth. But that change might have arrived, which is really cool to see. Women's sports are cool. Support them. Don't you not like watching more sports? And don't even come at me with the quality of play crap. A lot of you people watch college sports, and half of all college sports games are garbage. I mean, you like college sports because the atmosphere, collection to the team. Like, the very best college sports games are more exciting and entertaining than a pro sports game. The very best. But there's very few of those. Most college sports games are ass. Or just pretty mid. But you like them anyway. Same people don't like MLS. Like, well, I only watch the highest level of soccer, Arsenal. And then when the U.S., national, the U.S. soccer team doesn't play like Arsenal, people lose their minds. I mean, people have been wanting the U.S. soccer coach fired this whole time because he's an American. A lot of U.S. soccer fans think we can hire like this great, great genius European coach, and they'll want to coach here for God knows why. He completed Wood, by the way. Excuse me. Yeah, man, it's just like, are you all not very smart? Because it's what it feels like. Are we able to see sunflowers? The fact that I don't have a sunflower yet is kind of nutty. Yeah, those are sunflowers. If I just go over the snow. Y minus n 202. Or not over the snow even. But yeah, the whole Caitlin Clark thing by a bunch of ignoramuses. And man, Bomani Jones has been all over this. Don't see it right here. He was like, look, y'all keep saying you want more attention on women's sports, but all the dumbasses are coming. Gotta watch out, because you're gonna be flooded with dumbassery. Sure enough. So I think the best way to support the WNBA is to watch it as a sport. Don't be thinking about it like a capitalist. And it's like the people are saying like, oh, the NFL should try and get it's like saying the NFL should try and get the Cowboys into the Super Bowl to increase their ratings. Like, for some reason, people don't talk like that for any other sport. Everybody's talking about it like that for WNBA. And he's real smart businessmen. Yeah, on the U.S. soccer team, like, if we have a really bad Copa America, I think it will be time to move on from the coach. But I don't want people to come out here and say that we've been a massive failure under our coach, because that is just not true. He took a team, missed the World Cup 2018, 2019. We come back. get to the Gold Cup final against Mexico and lose. Since then, he has completely owned Mexico, utterly owned them. Dominated Mexico. Qualified for 2022 World Cup. Met expectations. People are mad because we only drew against Wales. Like, we probably should have beaten Wales. You know, but it didn't matter. If we beat Wales, we would have finished in the exact same position in our group. We drew against England. Forget, yeah, we beat Iran in our other game. That's right. Man, having that World Cup during winter was ass. Fuck FIFA. Hold that shit in Qatar. Bunch of bullshit. Everyone knew it was bullshit the second it happened in like 2010. We had to wait 12 years to see bullshit manifest. I'll turn my nose at a jungle temple. Preserving this last under parole, fine. But people think, you know, we're going to hire this, you know, Jurgen Klopp. Like, I remember one guy, so the U.S. did just lose 5-1 in a friendly at Colombia, which is real bad. A guy in the he just commented, he's like, Pep, you know, Pep Guardiola, who's Manchester City's coach and, you know, one of the 2 best coaches in the world. He's like, that's all I have to say. Yeah, because he's going to leave Manchester fucking City, where he's funded by the UAE and all this oil money and gets to just win championships every year. He is going to leave it behind. Someone's been here. Damn. To coach the United States. Are you an idiot? Yeah, even replace the wall, so I will too, I guess. No. And people hate MLS players. You're so, oh, he's fucking MLS. Ugh. You know, the starting 11 for that game against Colombia, every single one of them played in Europe, and before the game, everybody was celebrating the fact that there are no more MLS players. You saw what happened? So yeah, I think there's legitimate reasons not to play coach, but yeah, and then we lose in the knockout stage to Netherlands, who was a very good team, who we were not favored to beat. You can say that we didn't exceed expectations, but we absolutely met expectations. We went from not making the World Cup to the knockout round. And lost to the Netherlands, who, you know, had a good shot at going further, because I think the next game was the one, I don't think they had a knockout game in between, where they lost to Argentina in insane circumstances. And Argentina, of course, went on to win the World Cup. And the Netherlands was right there with them, and we were right there with the Netherlands. So, you know, if we looked at, you know, in 2014, our knockout game lost against Belgium, I guess the Low Countries hate us. And that game against Belgium, where everybody was mad that we didn't win that game, is one guy, poor Chris Wondolowski, missed a goal that basically, you know, everybody hated him, mocked him relentlessly for the rest of his life. He's a great American soccer player. We were only in that game because our goalie, Tim Howard, was losing his, you know, goddamn mind. Right? I think literally set like the single game record for saves by a goalie. Like, we very much did not deserve to win that game. It was significantly closer against the Netherlands. It's also easy to blame the coach, and this is the case in all sports, because you never want to... People are fans of teams, and they love the players. The last thing you want to do is admit that the player that you loved isn't actually as good as you thought. Like, you know, Christian Pulisic is good. He's not God. He's not God. So, Yeah, we definitely need to angle a little more this way. But the coach is always super easy scapegoat. I mean, in Mexico and Brazil, they're firing their national team coach like every year, and it never really seems to have an appreciable effect on their results. You know, England hates their coach, hates him. You know, they made the Euro final, and only lost to Italy in penalty kicks. Very easily could have won. And they hate him. I'm sure it's the case in other countries too. Hate their guy. Hate him. You know, even the U.S. women's team, I think it was the right choice to move on from their coach Vlatko, who, because the team did underperform at the Tokyo Olympics 2021 and the FIFA World Cup 2023. Definitely underperformed, unlike Berhalter, men's coach, who's performed. He underperformed. But those were close. Losing the semifinals of the Olympics to Canada on a correct but weak penalty kick call in a game. I think Canada had like no shots on goal outside of the penalty kick. I mean, definitely could have won that game. I think outplayed Canada in that game. And then only got eliminated to Sweden in like a 10-round penalty shootout where multiple key U.S. players just completely choked. Sophia Smith, who she's a Colorado person, so love you, Sophia. I remember she had like, at least her had a penalty kick to win the game. And, you know, who knows what would have happened after that. It's weird. I don't see Praise Savannah on the map. Oh, I went the wrong way. Beep, beep. Need to be 1,000 blocks through the gross-ass jungle. Okay. So, you know, it's not like the women's team got crushed. Just, you know, the chips, the luck that had been maybe falling the team's way stopped falling the team's way. And some players didn't do their jobs. And you can't fire the players, so goodbye, manager. I mean, in some cases, it's obviously the manager is just so grossly incompetent, like Nathaniel Hackett with the Broncos, whereby literally his second game in charge, it was clear that he would not last the full season. He just did not. He had to bring in like a clock helper to help him manage the clock. Am I going the wrong way again? Why can't I understand directions? Fuck. Fucking negative numbers breaking my brain. I have to go all the way. At least I didn't get that far, but so stupid. Stupid alert. I should not be a head coach. But yeah, everybody always hates the coach. Get rid of the coach. Coach sucks. The, you know, Colorado Avalanche won the Stanley Cup. 2 years later, some people don't you know, the Nuggets won the NBA Finals. People still suspicious of the coach. Thinks coach could be doing better. Wait, what? Oh, I'm so turned around. I need to be going this way. I had it wrong 6 ways from Sunday. Okay. People hate the coach. Yeah, it's gonna be a long episode. Shocker. Hopefully not as long as you think. Hopefully not as long as you think. So anyway, it'll be fun. The summer soccer is always fun. Rooting for Italy and England in the Euros, U.S. Copa America. Will be a good time. Not going to any Copa America games. Gotta keep that powder dry for the World Cup, you know. Look, the U.S. is just so many disadvantages, you know. I will say I don't think U.S. soccer is particularly well-run organization on the development side. This is separate from the coach specifically. Because, you know, the coach is the coach of the senior players, or, you know, there shouldn't be much more development there. I think, you know, the whole youth system in other countries where they've had these soccer academies established for, you know, a century now, they identify talent and quickly, you know, players taken out of the normal school system and into these specialized, you know, soccer laboratories to become crazy soccer boys. And that's just not how it is in the U.S. You got, you know, high schools and all these pro teams that charge a bunch of money and make it inaccessible for people and all this stuff. It's just such a fractured system because it developed haphazardly over time, and it's hard to disentangle that. In addition to the fact that, you know, in most countries, there is one sport. The sport is soccer. You play soccer. If you play another sport, you try soccer first. And here, you know, players aren't dreaming, the top athletes aren't dreaming of it. It's not as simple as, like, imagine if J.J. Watt was a soccer player, but, you know. A lot of people aren't dreaming of turning into soccer players. I mean, I can't remember the Netherlands isn't competitive in hockey or basketball. So what are they doing? Soccer. So you can say, oh, but the Netherlands is so much smaller in the U.S. How can we lose to them? Because they have 100 years head start on development and much less competition for their players' eyeballs, their talents. It's just speed skating, isn't it? Isn't it? So yeah, the U.S. just isn't set up to win the World Cup. I mean, I want to say it'll never happen in my lifetime, but, you know, I don't know. You know, who knows what the world will look like in 2060. Hopefully I'll still be around in 2060. One can hope. I feel like I'll know it when I see it with beats. But we have a few villages to examine. And that appears to be all the agriculture going on here. Let me just confirm. I believe it was deserts, but let me confirm. Beetroot seeds. Yep, 20. It's only 20%. Thankfully, this is not the only desert village, so. On delay. Keep going down the coast here, it seems. So naturally, you're now asking yourself, why is U.S. women's team so good? And it's because of a law 50 years ago called Title IX that said that for every, men's sport program, there had to be, although it was broader than this, but ended up having the biggest change in sports. No, we were going the right way. Never take Minecraft directions. No, we need to be going this way. Okay. Mass chaos. Yeah, it was broader than that, but it had the biggest impact on sports, so there's no college that has more men's sports teams than women's sports teams. Some have more women's teams than men's teams. That's fine, apparently. We're being discriminated. That's okay. Take a little bit of discrimination. But that meant when a lot of other countries were still, telling women not to play sports, women in the U.S. were playing sports. So the rest of the world's starting to catch up, finally. But that's why we have a big head start in women's soccer. So there you go. Alright, village, show me the beats! It's crazy what this queue for requests. Love the camels. Leads you to the strangest quest, doesn't it? Here we are in the beats quest. It's not beats. Time to use the last of our pearls to check up there. Not very effective. At least we're not having to tame all the cats again, like I did on Season 8. I was on that every advancement beat. Sky Beats by Dre. Well, there is agriculture up here, so I was right to give it a look. Hello, friends. Do you want a way to visit your friends again? There you go. Just don't fall! Oh. That was a melon stem. Oh, but these are beetroots! Aha! Beets! Let's go! They do blend in with the wheat. Okay, but we did it. Now, these are easy directions to follow. To get home. We'll deal with, making the beets and the cake and everything next time. And this is the right way to go. Not far now. I know I'm giving you guys extended episodes. I'm so generous. We'll be popping some balders after this. Good time. I know I mentioned I talk about, you know, the ink spell stuff. But, you know, I'm not even done with the second book. And I'll maybe wait until I finish the third book. And then I'll give you the full ink heart breakdown. The fast summary is, it's too long, but it's good. Definitely verbose, as it were. Those books were originally written in German, so maybe they're just used to things being too long. Their language. For all the... Sure, it's efficient, but combining multiple words into one word, sicko behavior. Sicko behavior. I'm definitely kind of ready for the NBA and NHL playoffs to be over. I don't know what happened this year, but it definitely feels like it lasted longer. Later in the year. Like, tomorrow's the anniversary of the Nuggets winning the championship. And that was Game 5. And, you know, we got Game 6. I've definitely been there. That's where the Allays are. Cool. We'll save the Allays one day. I just don't want to lose them. Yeah, so it's Game 5, and we're getting Game 3. Did I just say Game 6 randomly? I don't know if I did or not. And we're only on Game 3 this year. And I thought maybe the sports calendar was later, but the Super Bowl wasn't appreciably later. We had a leap day, but it should have actually, you know, made things earlier. So I don't know what happened. Couldn't tell you. Couldn't say. Who knows? Definitely feels like get ready to learn Thunderstorm, doesn't it? Come on. As you can see, I think I've exhausted all my topics of things that I care about. There's an election. Talk about that months from now. Scream into the void here. Kurt Subathon is never ceasing. Unending Subathon. I'll say the what chaos hockey guys have been delivering. Although the guy that's the Oilers fan is having a non-ideal flight to Edmonton with the Oilers winless in the series. Sorry, Beck. For some reason, Avs fans hate the Oilers. I know we played them in the playoffs years ago, but I mean, Evander Kane hurt Nazem Kadri, so fuck Evander Kane. But nobody likes Evander Kane anyway. Even the Oilers don't like Evander Kane. Why do people hate Connor McDavid? He's just a boring robot man. I don't know. I think Edmonton City has great passion for their team. It's slightly cool to see them win the cup, but also some Sean DeFreude is. I hope you didn't have to add the extra Freude, but I just did it because it's cool and good to do such things. $10 points if you can figure out where the hell I'm going. Not far now. Don't think it's to that little island. You're on the edge of forever. Hugging this border. There's an ender chest over there. Wild. Looks like there's a shipwreck, maybe. In the corals. Yeah. That's cool. Not sure I've noticed that one before. Maybe I have. I've been here several times. It's the portal. It's the way home. Didn't get too many items, but we crossed wood off the list. Not the orange tunnel, but ice boat's fast. Ice boat's very fast. Look at those coordinates move. I thank comp for the clues, but not enough to take the time to install mod. That's for sure. Don't like him that much. Whee! Now the game is struggling to load. I was just thinking, wow, the game's actually quite good about loading in, moving this quickly. And now it's like, whoa, buddy. Okay. I did not get out of the boat there. I was forcibly removed. Felt like making that point clear. Comp said after a few hours. You said after a few hours, people get the suspicious stew items. I'm not getting them. You're going to have to get your ass on here and give me the items manually. That's not working. All right. 1224. Not a big jump, but an appreciable one. It was a leap year. Checks out. Not that anybody knew it at the time, I'm sure. Wikipedia text got real big all of a sudden. Everybody get old. Ooh, this 1224's got gas. 1224's got stuff happening. Okay. Is there any other Asia thing? There is an Asia thing here. It's all just like somebody died. Okay, none of anything better than somebody died, but January 14th, Emperor Xuanzong of the Jurchen, I remember the Jurchens, good old Jurchens, led Jin Dynasty dies. And then succeeded by his 25-year-old son Aizong, conquers more Song territory. February, King Ferdinand III announced his intention to resume the Reconquista in Spain. We've got some crusading going on. June 5th, the University of Naples is founded. On September 14th, Francis of Assisi, while praying on a mountain during a 40-day fast, receives the stigmata. He gets the holes in his hands. September, Abdallah al-Adil, the Just, governor in Al-Andalus in southern Spain, challenges and captures Seville. The Emperor of Vietnam cedes the throne to his daughter. Cool, I will not try pronouncing any of those names. Theodore Komnenos ruled the Despotate of Epirus. The Despotate of Epirus. Wow. Captures Thessaloniki, beginning the de facto Byzantine Empire of Thessalonica. He's later crowned Byzantine Emperor, but no one cared. In the spring, the Mongol army, led by Subutai and Jochi, crossed the steppes of modern Kazakhstan and returns to the horde of Genghis Khan on the Irtysh River. And officially, Kazakhstan is in that Mongol Empire, baby. Finally, some good content. A good year. Let's go to get to 1307, though. And that's like almost the number. All right, we made it. We did it. It's time to introduce a new crop to the masses. I wish I had a trident. I'd be real sick right now. Beats. All right, everyone. Thanks for watching. Spooky, scary thunderstorm. Oh, no. Oh, no. Don't you interrupt my outro. I thought that guy went in the TARDIS. All right. Goodbye.